This is actually running on a 12-volt battery and one motor truck. There's quite a big gradient on this railroad, and it seems to manage it quite well. What I want to do is remove the fob control and rebuild it with a wireless one. Also do a little bit of a refurb to a different company. Pretty good. Put the stone resistor in series so the motor only gets 7 volts. It keeps the speed pretty good. This should be its last run until I modify it. This is also the first day since Christmas that it hasn't rained. These chicks have been out the first run this year. Shocking, really. So, quickly looking around this model, it's a really nice model. Aristocraft did a good job of this. The end's plastic, molded plastic, the body's all aluminium. And it's pretty good. A lot of underframe detail. Unfortunately, the paintwork on the ends seems to have gone strange. I think that needs to be repainted. There's no cab detail. I might add some of that. And originally, the windows were green glazing, which made it rather scary looking at night. So that was all taken out, put some clear glazing in, but I don't really want to see all that wiring. And I'm sure there's scope to put something more detailed on the interior. So the metalwork seems to have gone strange. I just need a good clean. Been standing in the shed for a long time. But all in all, a pretty good model. So, looking at this RDC on the workbench here, I'm doing a little bit of reworking of it. And years ago, I was given an article from the railway modeller of these units. There's a scale drawing for HO, so even in HO it's quite a pretty big model. So the HO scale is 3.5mm to the foot, and G scale is nominally 129, which is 3 times the size of HO. So a very kind chap at the club enlarged that article to a 129 scale, and that's given me a nice big drawing. And standing next to the actual model is pretty good. And from what I can see from the drawing and the wattle, it's only one window short, which I can live with because I really do like this unit. Looking at the underframe, there's a few things not quite in the right place. Some of the components don't line up. Perhaps an air tank, a compressor. But I think on the whole, most of the bits are there that you're going to see at a distance. And as the thing spends its life going around the garden, it's always going to be at a distance. So there's quite a few things. I can live with that. This model is more or less out of the box, apart from the cheap radio control unit I put on, but I think I'll change that while I'm doing this and upgrade it. Also on the drawings is the layout of the interior, so that might be useful. Can push the board up perhaps and do an interior. Put some seats in it and some people. I did take out the original windows, which were a slightly surreal looking green. It looked a bit phantom, but I put the clear perspex in it, so now all I can see is the wiring, so I think I might have a look at that as well. I also want to change the name and make it into a B-liner New York Central unit, if that's possible. One thing I have noticed on the profile is all the underframe detail is actually back to front compared to the actual model. It's a bit strange, but I don't think that's a big deal to move them around. It's quite obvious when you look at the profile of the length of the model and how much shorter it is, but as I say, I can live with that. A lot of VHO models have the same sort of issues and people live with that. Also, I'll have a look at putting a coupling on there, put a KD on. I'll try and make it work. So quickly laying everything else out on the bottom, it seems to look a lot better. Not everything looks like the drawing, but it's as near as I can get everything. So that lot needs to be fixed down, and then I can start with something else. Right, so now what I've done is I've cut a piece of plastic and cut the notches in the ends. Go in there, either end, and it's long enough now, so hopefully all the wiring can be hidden underneath, and I'll be able to put some seats on here. Well, the next bit of this is I made some seats, basic seats, sort of standard styrene and some bits of blocks, and I sanded them slightly so there's a bit of a rake on the seats. So the next job is to line them all up with the windows, because according to the drawing the seats line up with the window frames. So that meant 46 seat units. So that's going to be interesting. I need to attach them to the base frame and make sure they line up with the windows. So here we are. I've got all the seats fixed down and the bulkheads in. So now it's off to the spray paint. Get some undercoat on here. I also spray painted all those people. Grey primer, so that'll be the next thing to do. So that's going to take some work. So after a few hours painting, managed to come up with this lot. So next job is to get them in the seats. Let the glue set nice and hard. A lot easier using hot acrylics paint set. Right, so that's the people stuck in. Just need to double check that tomorrow to see how many are still sitting there. Probably half of them fall out. It's getting closer. So I just need a train crew sorted out. That should look pretty good. So after a lot of work, I've rearranged all of the underframe so it looks more like the drawing, even though the components aren't exactly it, but hey ho, what else can I do? It certainly looks a bit better. I've got room for the battery box now, and I just need to work out where the switchgear goes, and the receiver unit probably go inside that engine pod. Oh, still quite a bit to do. So this is where I start to fit some blinds. I'm using just ordinary A4 sheets of paper taped to the inside. So hopefully this gives a good impression of blinds. Trying to make the blinds all different heights, and a couple of wonky blinds, which wasn't planned but looks okay. So I've got this put back together. I put the interior in and I put the lights on. So when I switch them on, effect. The only problem is the light shines through the roof. So that's the next bit of the project, blocking up the daylight which comes through these huge holes in the roof. But otherwise I'm pretty pleased with that.